few days ago, I was stressing about everything. I was overthinking and I was thinking about just everything that is going on in my life right now. Now, I've took many risks in my life, including big ones which I'm taking right now. So I'm sure you can imagine the amount of stress that can be put on us. I'm sure you've taken risks before and there's stress that you have with it. And for me, what I tend to do is I tend to overthink things quite a lot. And this week has been really tough. I've been overthinking everything about my career, about my future, about my potential, about my life. And I want to be 100% honest with you. I've been thinking and stressing about, as I said, my potential. Sometimes I think to myself, am I what I say I am? Am I doing the things that I am saying I'm doing? And not only on camera, but just to myself as well. Am I practicing what I preach? Am I really trying to turn the negatives into the positives, or am I just focusing on the negatives way too much? And it can be very stressful. It can be very confusing. On top of that, there's other thoughts that I've got about if I'm able to get to the places where I want to be. Is creating these videos even going to work out? I've took some time off with other things so that I can do the things that I want to do, so that I can put effort. It might not translate to anything, but it will eventually the more that I keep going. And I've got all of these things all together clouding my visibility in my own mind. And it was hard for me to even think of what to do next, especially when I do have all of these things coming at me at once. It feels like I don't know what to do. It feels like I don't know where to start just because everything just seems so overwhelming. Even though nothing was happening, my mind was racing 24/7. And this happened for a good day, which might not seem like much, but when your head is filled with all these different thoughts, all these different emotions, it can feel like a long day. It can feel like a week. It can feel that long. And after some hours, many hours, 10, 11, 12 hours later, and I think it even rolled into the next day, then I started to realise that it wasn't what my life had become, but what my own mind had become. Nothing actually changed physically, but it was just all in my mind. And I think we can go through life like this. We can have, I don't know what the right word is. I've got a word in my mind that I'm thinking about, but I don't want to say it out loud just in case it's not the right way to say it. But it's these sort of moments I feel like we can have in life where our minds are just clouded. We've got so much going on. And sometimes it just takes that bit of time. And I talk about, if you've ever watched my previous videos in the past, you'll know that I talk about time a lot. Because what I've realised is things start to change for me through time. That's when I've started to notice that things get better, is through time. And especially in the moment, it can be tough, obviously. And what I was doing is just seeking more help than usual. And that's something that I've been quite vocal about within this past month. Maybe not sharing the details with my goals to other people just because I want to keep them quiet. But I have been sharing more about my emotions to other people, and it feels like I've got a lot of weight off my shoulders. It's not something that you realise until you actually do it. When you do talk to someone, whether it is a therapist, whether it is, like myself, people in my family, when you do talk to people about how you feel, it takes that pressure, that weight off. And I feel like when you say them out loud, for me, this is what it was. When I said them out loud, it was as if I could evaluate everything and put stuff in the most value to the least value, or or the least important, even the most important to the least important, and try and do the most important stuff and take one step at a time. And I do feel like that has been working for me as of recently. Was just speaking out loud, talking to people, and as I said, it really did take a lot of weight off my shoulders, because I feel like we can be those types of people. Well, for me, I don't really want to speak for everyone, but for me, I I'm in my mind a lot. I'm really in my mind a lot, and I start thinking about all these different things, as I already mentioned. And even more, it's not even just a couple of those things, but just everything, especially with the things that I'm doing. I'm worried about the unknown. I'm scared about the unknown as well, especially with what I'm doing. There's not really much security, and I feel like that's what brings up all these emotions, all these self-doubt thoughts, and everything else that goes along with it. But by talking out loud and by speaking up as of recently, it's taken a lot of pressure off me, where it's made me analyze and realize on what the main things I need to focus on. And even just by listening to other people's advice in my family, they might give me advice on what to focus on, and they might reassure me. And I think that can be such a life changer, which it was for me, just because, as I said, I am in my mind a lot. There's so much going on in my mind constantly. And I'm not trying to say I have it all figured out. I'm sure you already know this by now, but I don't have it figured out. As of what I was explaining there, I mean, I don't think it sounds like I have it all figured out. I'm scared of the unknown. I'm taking some risks. Some of them are calculated. Well, I would say a lot of them, most of them, all of them actually are calculated. And I don't have it all figured out. And I don't believe anyone ever does. I think the more that we continue on this journey on life, and I've said this in other videos, but I feel like the more that we continue on this journey of life, then we start to have a better sense of how to figure things out. Especially when we go through the same things, or if we experience something more times, like if we experience failure more times, then we get to have this understanding on how to get past that quite quickly the more that we go through these things. And I think that's what it is with everything, really. I think the more that we continue to go on this journey of life, the more our questions will be answered. And the more things, I don't think it'll ever get easy, but it'll get easier. I think that just starts by doing the things that helps us, always seeking help and trying finding something to help us, to help navigate what to do next if we're unsure on what to do next. And for me, I stopped having all these thoughts. I'm sure they'll come again, but I stopped having recently all these thoughts, and I was able to get them out and share them to people. And that really did help me. I feel like I can breathe again. And it's reminded me that what we are going through in life isn't always permanent. And especially when I was going through this mental challenge, this mental battle that I was dealing with about 30 hours ago, for the first time, I felt like I wasn't able to see the light. I questioned myself. I was like, am I ever going to get out of this? Is that me stuck now in this negative way of thinking, in this mental battle that's going on in my mind? And that was the first time, I feel like, where I actually was like that. As of I can remember. And now I feel like I've overcame. I mean, I'm sure those negative thoughts will come back to me, and I think we're always going to have negative thoughts, and it's how we challenge those negative thoughts. It reminded me again that I can overcome these things, and that things do get better, and that things aren't permanent. And I'm fortunate that it might have only have lasted a day, and maybe some other people, and maybe in the future I might experience something similar like that for even longer, or I might experience other things. But I feel like no matter what it is, and I feel like no matter how long something might go on for, I don't think it really is permanent. Although our minds can make us think otherwise, I don't think it is permanent. And as I said a minute ago, I think the more that we continue going through things and just experiencing life, the more sort of the more directions we would have on how to navigate certain things. And I feel like we only get that through experiencing those challenges. The first challenges, I think the first failures, the first mistakes that we ever make are the most valuable, because then we know what it feels like. And I've talked about this in another video, but then we know what it feels like, and then we know what comes along with it, so that we can, I don't want to say avoid it, because challenges, mistakes, failures, they're always going to be a thing, but how we can then think in a way in which we can navigate through those challenges. I've realised that it's not about fixing everything at once, but just giving my mind some space, some time to breathe. I feel like as of recently, I've just been thinking about everything, which has benefits to it, but there's also, like everything, there's cons to it as well. And I feel like for me, when I forget about those cons, then I feel like for me, things just start to go downhill. And I feel like by giving myself some time to breathe, some time to think, instead of having everything all in my mind, has allowed me to get better and to be better, maybe even if it's not fully. And especially with the situation that I'm in right now, especially with the things that I want to do on this earth, it can make it very difficult, especially when we are comparing ourselves to other people and seeing the success that they have been able to achieve at such a young age. And that can be bad. It can make us question our whole decisions. And I feel like it is so important for me it was to give myself some time to just relax to myself and to just think about, yes, the positives, and just to have more clarity on what it is I want to do, how I'm going to do it, so that not everything is all presented at me all at once. And I feel like it is great for me to just have some time for my mind to breathe, to give my mind some space, and to not focus on the external and unnecessary things that's going on as well. Because what I've also mentioned in other videos, and I've realised this for a long time, and even though I have realised it for a long time, it's still a tough and challenging thing to keep on understanding and trying to think about. But everyone's journey is different, and I try to understand that as much as possible, even though it can be tough. And I feel like I've understood it more, but everyone's journey is different. Everyone's path is, it's unique. Everyone's path is different. And there's not going to be one path that's the same. The destination might be the same, or the goals might be the same, but the journey isn't. And the more that I've thought about that recently, it made me realise on what is the point of myself to compare to other people. Even though it might sound cliche, but I hope that this video could help you in any type of way. This is just me explaining what I've kind of gone through recently, if that makes sense, even though it was just mental. And yeah, I hope this video could resonate with you. I'm sure maybe some people might resonate with this, just because I feel like as of recently, especially some people in my family as well, I think mental health is really important. And I hope it can resonate with you, this video. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you could please like this video, subscribe down below, and if you know anyone that may benefit from watching this, then I would very much appreciate it if you could please share this video to them. Thank you so much, and I will see everyone in the next one.